everyone, it's Allie, and today I have another book haul for you. I don't know if you can see the necklace that I'm wearing. I don't know if it's too long for the shot or if my hair is all covering it, because that usually happens, but you know. Anyway, for this video, I'm going to be talking about this book, In Too Deep. This book is gorgeous. I love this book so much. Let's read the beginning for you. I could read the beginning, or I could just tell you, because I know it's what it's basically about. Okay, let's just go for it. Let's not even bother reading the inside. Anyway, okay, so this book is about a man named Michael Wright. He is an ex-Navy SEAL, and he has come to a place called Paradise Island to enact vengeance on a man named Trevor Church. Now, Trevor, he is getting revenge or whatever. He's basically avenging his best friend's death is pretty much what's happening. Trevor Church is a horrible man. He is basically, he buys and sells like yachts and weapons and cargo and ammo and all kinds of contraband and stuff. And so Michael has kind of been on this journey to just basically put him out of business because he killed his best friend, and because Trevor killed Michael's best friend, and in the process of all that happening, he lost his eye. He lost one of his eyes, Michael did. So he wears an eye patch. So throughout the entire book, the woman that he meets, because a ship explodes, one of Trevor's yachts explodes, and the woman, Tally, or Tallulah Cruz, Trevor's daughter, was on the boat on the yacht, and she, got flung into the water, and then Michael saved her. And so throughout the entire book, because he wears an eye patch and he lives on a dinky little boat called the Nemesis, she calls him a pirate, and it's just really funny because he's not really a pirate, but he is kind of a pirate because he lives on this little boat because he is a bum, and he has spent like the entire 8 months or something, sailing around trying to find Trevor and destroy him and all that stuff. So he meets her, he saves her. He saves her life because she gets flung from the yacht when it explodes, and he just happens to be there because he's at Paradise Island because that's where this big deal is going to go down. Trevor has a lot of weapons and ammo and stuff coming in that he's going to auction off, and Michael wants to destroy it to destroy him. And so he basically is trying to figure out anything that he can to help him know when Trevor's coming, what's going to happen, And so he's kind of watching this yacht, and he's watching her and the other person that's on the yacht, and then it explodes, and that's a whole big thing. So after he meets her, he then decides that he wasn't expecting her to even be around, but she's there to meet her father. So once he meets her, he decides that he's going to use her basically in his plan to take down Trevor. So he basically decides that he's going to seduce her, which doesn't take very much effort because if that's any indication to you, he's gorgeous. So basically all he has to do is look at her and she kind of melts. It's just a, sappy romantic thing. So that's basically what he does. He uses her he wants her to trust him so then he can use her against her father, against Trevor. But he isn't accounting for the fact that she basically makes him fall in love with her. So he's not really counting on actually feeling anything for her because she's just a means to an end, as he keeps saying throughout the entire stupid book. That basically he's just using her and she's just a means to an end. But he starts, falling in love with her and all that. So yeah, it's a really good book. And obviously it's going to have a happy ending because that's just how romance books usually work. I read this a long time ago. This came out in 2002, and I read it, in 2002, I was 10 in 2002, and so I think I read this probably in 2007, 2008, I read this when I was in high school. Right in high school, which may have been a little bit racy to read for me. Ooh, I did think about that. There's some sexy scenes in here. They're not like, well, maybe they are. They're not as graphic as a lot of things. She kind of, I mean, you still know what's happening. Like, she doesn't leave out the fact that they're both naked and like he's hard and all that, and they, but she doesn't say like he put his penis in her vagina. She doesn't say that. But she just, what's going on, and it's just it's not as graphic as other books that I read. But I guess for just being in high school, only being like 15, it was pretty racy for me. Anyways. I got this again at the library because I thought I was really into romance books. Now that I think about it, I was really into romance books back then. I still really like them, but I don't read them nearly as much because in high school I had this class. It wasn't really a class, but it was called study hall, and you basically went into the cafeteria and you just sat there and you did your homework, or you read a book, or you did whatever you wanted, as long as it was quiet. And during that time I would read all the time because I usually got my homework done. Well, I would do my homework then, but I usually got it done pretty quickly, so I just had so much time left because I think it was about 40 minutes this period was. I guess it was a period or a class. I don't know. It wasn't a class really, but I guess that's just what I'm going to call it. So I would get my homework done, and then I would read, and this is one of the books that I read. I also went through a time when I read a lot of books about gay guys, because it just really fascinates me sometimes to read about them, because I can't identify with that really. Like, it's not a personal thing, but it just to know about, or to read about how awful it is sometimes, just really fascinates me sometimes, all the time, it just really fascinates me. So I really want to buy some of the books that I've read because they were just really good, not because they were about gay men, but just because they were really good. Anyway, so I read a lot of that, and I read a lot of romance, and I got books sometimes from people when I read some of them. Does anyone remember, this is not even nearly about this book, does anyone remember those like stretchy book covers that you would get? They were like spandexy kind of stuff, and you'd like put them on your books, and it wasn't like you put like a paper cover on your book and you could like smush it around. It was really soft. I don't know if anyone knows what I'm talking about, but I had one of those, and I put it over some of the books that I read because the covers were not really school appropriate. I don't even know if you can see me. I don't know if I'm even in frame. They weren't really school appropriate. One of them I remember, I don't remember what it was called. It was about gay men. And the cover was, they were naked, but it was tastefully done. It wasn't like, it was like full on, frontal nudity. It was tastefully done. But it just wasn't school appropriate, especially around the time when I was actually reading it, because I was only like 16. So probably wasn't the best one to be reading at school. So I used one of those covers, those stretchy covers, and I put it on it. And I think it was called Man to Man. And I was in one class. It was career choices or life. It was some career life. I think it was what it was called. It was basically getting you ready for. Maybe I was older. Maybe it was in my junior or senior year. But anyways, it still wasn't school appropriate. That class basically got you, taught you how to write a resume and how to do an interview and all that kind of stuff. So in the midst of doing that, I was reading this book with naked men on the cover, and my teacher came over one time. It was after class. Not after class, but like we were done with our lesson, and we had like 10 minutes or something of class left. And so I was reading, and she came over and she saw the title, and she wasn't very impressed. So anyway, let's get off of all that. Back to this book. even though there's not really much else I'm going to tell you about it, because otherwise I will be giving things away. There is one thing that I want to tell you that that's not really a spoiler, because it's not really an event that happens, and it's not really, I mean, he is a significant character, but he's not like significant enough to where it really matters if I tell you about him. But the first thing I want to say is I would definitely recommend checking this out, because it's just so good. There are parts, and because I've already read this, but because I read it a long time ago, I kind of forgot what happened, but I still remembered what happened. But there was one point that actually had me laughing because I forgot that it happened, and as I started reading it and I read like 3 sentences of that event that was happening, it just brought it all back to me, and it just made me laugh. And I don't know if anyone else has had that happen when they've been rereading a book, and it was just so good. Anyways, the character that I want to tell you about, he's a cat. So, he's not really, significant enough to where it really matters if I tell you about him, but he's a cat, and he is Michael's cat. So, on the Nemesis isn't very big. It's basically made for one man, but his brother-in-law equipped it for almost everything you could need or even dream of wanting, to be able to sail around the world forever. And all Michael ever has to do is come to land just every now and then to get some supplies and food and stuff. Brother-in-law hooked him up with all kinds of, boy gadgets or boy gadgets. He's not a boy, he's a man. Man gadgets, like, anything you could really want. So one time Michael was somewhere getting supplies, I guess, and he found this cat in an alley, and this cat decided he was going to go with Michael on his boat, so we did. And this cat has a messed up ear, because I think he was getting attacked, or he had been attacked, and his ear got all mangled. So he has a mangled ear, he has 3 legs, and he lives on a small boat with a one-eyed pirate, which I just think is so good. The cat's name is Lucky. He's a big black cat. And he has green eyes, and he may be my favorite character in this entire book. He is just a cat, and he doesn't really play that major of a role in the book, but I just love him. He's so cute. A 3-legged, crumple-eared cat, black cat, living on a boat with a one-eyed pirate. How good is that? How amazing. That's a story in itself, isn't it? I need some water or something, or I need to go eat. I might need to go eat, I'm really hungry. But I would recommend checking this out, because it's just fantastic. It's really funny, and there's another lady in here that you are definitely going to love, because she's just hysterical. Her name is Auntie, or Auntie, however you want to say it. So, yeah, I'm not really going to say any more about anything, because I don't want to spoil anything. And I'll put a link to this down below. I got this on Amazon as well. If you want to read it, you can read the synapse. I keep saying synapse when I want to say synopsis, and synapse is, things in your brain, and that's definitely not what I want to say. On Amazon, you can read the synopsis for this book, because I didn't. It's right there. I didn't read it to you. I've read it. Obviously, I've read it. I didn't read it to you because I know this book, and I just didn't want to. And I didn't think I needed to, really, because I know this book, and I love this book, and I'm able to talk about it. And I went on a tangent. I went on a complete rant about something that's not even related to this book, but that's okay. So I'm going to stop talking now, and I'm going to go find I'm going to go find myself something to eat. So I guess I will just leave it at that. Definitely read this one, read the other one that I did. And I feel like I'm talking really fast, but maybe that's just because I'm really hungry and I really want to get this done and go eat. So definitely check this one out. Check out the other one that I did, which is After Red. I will put a link below, or you can just go to my channel and watch that one. So I will just leave you there, and I will see you guys some other time. Bye!